welcome to episode 6 of TUC podcast. I go by the name of Ladale, the Fashionista, manager editor here at True Urban Culture Magazine. And here I'm alongside my guys on this lovely evening. Please introduce yourselves to the people, fellas.
Hello, I'm Kenny, and I'm 1/3 of this sausage fest. Hoping we have a really good conversation.
A whole lot of testosterone in this week's edition. All right, Mr. Donovan, Donnie Wilkins.
Yeah, how you guys doing? It's Donnie, as you already know, co-host of the Out of Bounds Sports Space podcast and co-host here of TUC Talk. I am a music journalist, film journalist, and sports journalist.
Yes. And speaking of music journalists, we just recently dropped an interview today with the music duo 10 p.m. to Close. So check that out.
Great group.
Great duo. We look forward to more to come from them in the future. And also, if you're a musician or an independent artist or established artist and you're allowed to be interviewed by us, please send me an email at Ladale, Ladale, at tugmag.net, and we'll love to set that up. Also, if you're new here on the channel for the first time, first of all, welcome. Happy to have you. Please do us a favor, like this video, share this video, and also subscribe to the network as it help us out with the YouTube algorithm. And also, if you listen to us on audio platforms, you can find us at Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify at the TUC Podcast Network. That's TUC without a K, so TUC Podcast Network. Now, with that said, it's time to get into our tradition here on the TUC Talk podcast, and that is the mental check-in, because I believe that the best ability that we all have as individuals is our mental stability, because without that, nothing else matters. So let's get to our rating scale. For those of you that's new in regards to the mental check-in, we rate our mental up on a scale of 1 to 10. 1, signify I want to die. 2, my life is pointless. 3, nothing matters. 4, my life sucks right now. 5, it's whatever. 6, I'm content. 7, I'm grateful. 8, I'm in a good place. 9, I'm excited about life. And 10, life couldn't be better. Now, granted, these ratings could fluctuate on a week-to-week basis because, after all, no day is the same, no week is the same. We all go through trials and tribulations in life. So I'll present this to you guys. Like, where are we at on a scale of 1 to 10 this week?
Donovan, go first. I'm quite interested.
You know what? I'm whatever. Because of the topic that I'll be bringing up very soon. I woke up late today, missed work by 30 minutes. My 3 alarms didn't go off. Fucking piece of shit Google phone. I'm sorry, Google. I love your products. Send me a new one. But
I'm surprised you're not team iPhone.
iPhones are for stupid people. I feel like if you want to be sophisticated and customize your phone and have every control and aspect of what's going on in your phone, I feel like that's what Android is. If you want to be like the same and cookie cutter like everybody else, that's what Apple is. But Samsung, I do love.
Yes.
Yeah. But I do love Apple's ecosystem. Like everything, the way everything connects.
Damn it, Donovan.
Watching.
Never to get the sponsorship now.
Yeah, you fucking it up.
You gotta be consistent. Had us in the first.
But overall, Apple sucks.
But we love. But for the record, we love our iPhone users out there. If you're watching this video on the Apple product, we love you. We appreciate you. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, we hope that you do subscribe. Continue.
Yeah. And if you're over 18, send us nudes. Continue.
You can't ask for that.
You're over 18.
Oh my god.
So before we started recording today, we had an interesting conversation, and as a aspiring photojournalist, I go to a lot of protests and stuff like that, and now every day in the news you see somebody's up in arms about something, or the left said something that the right didn't agree with, or the right said something that the left didn't agree with. And within the Black community, you're looked at to be like democratic and just straight like support like your culture and stuff like that. I tend to lean more to the middle side of things. Some days I identify as a Republican. Some days I identify as a Democrat, and people don't like that. So I had a conversation with my friend earlier this week about going to a protest and just profiting off the suffering of the people attending the protests.
Wait, that sounded so wrong. Profit over the suffering.
Can I just say you brought like gender fluidness to politics for a second there? So I think you're politically fluid now.
Yeah, I that's what I would identify as politically. I don't agree with the left, but I also don't agree with the right. Like I said, and like we all know, they're two sides of the same shit toilet. But back to the story, like she was chewing me out for just taking pictures and not ever aligning or flipping sides between protests and like platforms and stuff like that. I told her I don't believe in the Black Lives Matter movement. I really don't agree with the LGBTQ movement at all.
Okay,
And
time
it's
out for a
just
second. Okay, time out for a second. Let's unpack this for a second because obviously we need context.
sure.
So
Forget the three topics.
Yeah.
So basically, like, why? Like, what is it about the Black Lives Matter movement that you don't agree with?
I think the way they go about things, I think there's a better way to protest and stuff like that, besides burning down buildings and stuff like that. And it could be said that it's not the whole movement as a whole, but nobody ever denounces the involvement of the riots and stuff like that.
Okay, and what about the LGBT movement that you don't agree with?
I mean, uh, this will be the first time I'm actually saying it out loud to a platform.
Okay,
But,
first of all, hold on, time before
Is
you
it coming out of the closet?
Okay, first of all, before you ask that, do you feel comfortable giving a response to this question? Because I don't want to make you feel like you're on the spot or anything.
Sure. No. Like I said, I really don't care.
Tell us what you are.
Okay.
Tell us now. I need a box. I can put you in.
Holding the guns in your head.
I need a box.
I don't identify as straight. I don't identify as gay. If you had to put me in a box, it would be bi. In the past, I've had sex with men. I've also, yeah, there are two genders. I mean, I probably shouldn't go into that, but yes, but I like the way I simplify it is, I like to have sex with who I like to have. I like to have sex with humans. That's what I will label myself as, whether they're straight, trans, bi, gender fluid, or whatever. Like that's the way I connect with people, physically and emotionally. But I find it hard to support protests and movements because of the other side of things that I don't necessarily agree with. Like the co-founder of the Black Lives Matter movement just purchased $1 million house somewhere in a white suburban neighborhood. Another thing,
preach.
Yeah, I was like, come on, let's be real. Another thing is, I have yet to see as a Black man any of that $90 million Black Lives Matter movement donation money. I have yet to hear anything about it in inner city Philadelphia. I have yet to hear anything about it in any other major city. So it's like I don't agree with that. Like I don't agree with support sending money and stuff like that.
I will say this though, in regards to the Black Lives Matter movement and many of these movements out there, people like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, they gave a lot of these newfound revolutionaries the blueprint. I feel because I feel like there's more money in talking about the struggles of Black people or
Yeah.
any people of color, whether you're Latino, Asian, or the case may be. I feel like there's more money in talking about the issues rather than solving the issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's my biggest issue with it. And also like in regards to like the founder of the Black Lives Matter movement, buying a house, like once again, it's like, okay, all these people that died that you claim to be marching for, you raise all this money for, basically like the house that you're living in now, like the fact that now you're living in a more comfortable state, the family of the victim that you're supposed to be advocating for, they're not. Most likely, they're still in the same
Right.
situation. They're still grieving the same way.
That's like the major problem I have with the Democratic Party. They do a lot of talk. That's all they do. Like they love to talk and they'll do this and they'll do that, but nothing ever gets done. It was the same argument that I heard with President Obama when people ask why I voted for him. I say honestly, I voted for him because he was Black. And he had that cool poster.
The only one. He wasn't the only one.
But yeah, if anybody asks me what did he do for me, nothing. I still went to work to a shitty ass job. My life didn't get any better when he became president, and that's basically for all presidents. Like I just don't see the world the way other people see it. I'm only here for myself, and I know that sounds selfish, but it is what it is. I feel like deep down that's what everybody's here for.
Okay. But before we follow up on that, King, like, why was you just holding up a light bulb just now? Like, is that symbolism for something?
Because Eureka, man. Eureka. Also, I just had a light bulb and I was playing with it. That's all. It's very smooth.
Yeah, I was on a road of discovery the past 2 years, and yeah.
Well, with Donovan,
I'm doing great, by the way.
Yeah, Kenny, like, where are you out of scale?
Yeah, how are you doing, Kenny?
Yeah, I'm straight and a right-wing extremist, but you know that. Other than that, I'm pretty good. I'm in a pretty good place. I just finally got a big boy job with a big boy company, and you know, it's funny because I think it proves that the law of attraction works. Because I've been trying to apply to this place for months now, like 4 or 5 different rejections, and at first I really cared about it. Second time, cared a lot less. Third time, cared even less. By the fourth time, I just didn't really give a fuck anymore. And now I didn't give a fuck. I did everything on a whim. Like, I just so happened to email the recruiter and be like, hey, what do you got for me, boy? And he was like, yeah, like, here's an internship. Want to interview for him? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. I fucking show up to the interview, literally changed in the 2 minutes before the interview because it's on camera. And I got it. I even got another position, and I got to really boost my ego by being like, oh, this position offered me this already. You guys better hurry up. I'm a hot piece of meat right now.
Yeah,
and I got it. Right? Yeah, I'm a hot piece. Yeah, that too. Piece of meat. Yeah, no. So I'm pretty grateful, honestly, and it's great. The power of not giving a shit about anything is just amazing.
Yeah,
and
it
then
really
like
is.
just for funsies, I went on an interview to a funeral home because I think I've made it pretty clear. I'm quite fascinated by death and dying and whatnot. Like, quite fascinated.
What does that interview
you want to be a
mortician?
Like, I could see myself as that. I can see. I like working with people who are, you know, on the precipice of dying and whatnot.
Have you ever thought about being a coroner?
Like a coroner for the city? Yeah, but I would prefer like the whole embalming process, particularly.
Also,
like I'm the guy who gets the body. Yeah, I'll get the body afterward. If you see 6 Feet Under, it's my favorite show. They basically like pump it full of chemicals and like make it the corpse appear so pretty. I think it's interesting. They got the Egyptian Book of the Dead, so this has been happening for like 2,000 years. But anyways, I went to his funeral home, and I had the I'm coming from a place of watching 6 Feet Under, of knowing mom and pop funeral homes, right? This fucking complex was huge. Like, it was insane. It was like the Macy's of funeral homes. And I was dressed nice and appropriate and whatnot, but I was like really intimidated because I walk in there and the caskets are like $120,000, just the casket. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Because your average funeral is like $8,000 for everything. And these motherfuckers are charging people $120,000 for a bed that they'll only ever sleep in once. You know what I mean? So the funeral home is like, I'm not going to name drop it just in case, but they are renowned for only doing funerals for celebrities. So they're like the celebrity funeral home. And I found I found out later they were the ones that actually put Jeffrey Epstein in the ground. That was them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. Cool. I was like, who was paying for the funeral arrangements? Did he pay for himself? What's going on? I'm glad I didn't know at the time, because I would have just kept asking questions. But this fat piece of shit, not to make fat people feel bad about themselves. This guy just happened to be canceled
because I already know I'm on the way.
He just so happened to be fat and the piece of shit. Like, the guy who was interviewing me initially and who like emailed me, like, first of all, I was just looking to volunteer. I wasn't thinking I actually be offered like a part-time job. I was like, oh, okay, sure, I'll come in. Why not? I was gonna volunteer. I was gonna work for free, but sure, pay me. And I go in there, and the guy who I initially spoke to, great guy, really nice, really approachable, answered all the questions, gave me compliments about my background. Like, really, he gave me a hard on. I'm not gonna lie. But like this other fat Italian dude made it the most intense interview of my life. Like, here I go already with a big boy job with a big boy company that was way more lax, way more profitable than the one I'm going here. And this guy thinks he's like such hot shit. He's like, oh, I see you have high turnover rate. What are these positions about? And I'm like, sir, it quite obviously says internship there. Do you need me to tell you what an internship is? How did you get this job? Yeah, I know. Like, I'm not gonna stay in the fucking I'm not gonna stay in the position like that forever. It's an internship between school.
Right.
And like, he was just a hard ass about everything. And like, he was like, I only brought up price once. I only brought up it like once in the conversation. I didn't mention that they are overcharging for their shitty service. I just said, yeah, at the deaf care industry, it's more about service oriented, where the cost is the least important thing that happens. It's more about doing what you can for the family. He's like, let's talk about the cost real quick, because if you price shop us, we will always lose. But if you value shop us, we will always win. And I'm like, you're just putting bitches in the ground. Don't shut up. Right. Cremation is $750. I don't know why everyone's not doing that.
Really?
Yeah, it's like $750 for a cremation. Easy peasy.
$750.
Yeah, for
hold on.
Pretty little urn, and you go right in.
If that's the case, I could just get my mother to burn me up.
Yeah,
I told my siblings to bury me
with the ashes
in a Vans box and then spread my ashes across the Midwest and Central Park.
Shit, half of you in the Midwest, half of you in Central Park.
Yeah.
You'll hear some crazy stories of what people do with the ashes. Like I said, they'll wear them in like jewelry, or some crazy ass motherfuckers will snort them like cocaine.
What is happening?
Wait, didn't a famous rock star do that or something like that?
Probably, but I think that's how I want to go.
So you want to go out snorting ashes like cocaine?
Yeah, basically, I want my ashes to be snorted by a bunch of like OnlyFans girls. I don't know. I shall die as I lived. Oh, I'm gonna get in such trouble for that one. You don't even know.
Is there anything?
Okay. I mean,
let me know that you guys want me to edit out.
I'm sorry. One question at a time, gentlemen. What?
Let me know, fellas, anything that you want me to edit out from this.
Leave it in.
Stories are wild.
Kenny doesn't use condoms. He goes in raw. Okay, edit that one.
Here. Ain't never had been scared yet.
Oh dear.
Oh
my God, I love you. I platonically love you, Donovan.
You guys are wild, man. You guys are wild. As far as for me though, I'm in a good place. I feel like momentum we're slowly starting to pick up momentum. A lot of areas within TUC. TUC Fashion Week is soon on the horizon. We're in the process of planning that. So for all our fashion lovers out there, if you ever attended TUC Fashion Week in the past, get ready because we're getting ready. Excuse me, we're getting ready to relaunch our TUC Fashion Week series. Hopefully later on this summer, we have more details later as we gather more information that's worth releasing to the public. So be on the lookout for that. As far as me outside of like work and stuff like that, I'm at a good place in life. I feel I'm at peace with everything, and I agree with you, Kenny, in the sense like when you don't give a fuck about something, that's when you start getting the most results. You stop caring and stop giving a fuck. It's kind of like the same mantra that you have, Donovan, as far as like not giving a fuck. So I feel like I'm starting to carry that in a lot of areas of my life. Not on like some like it is what it is type of vibe, but it's like okay, cool. Like I've done all that I can do. It is what it is. It's out of my control now. So that's the way I
Yeah, I
approach it.
mean, I realize that I'm going to die alone, and I'm content with that.
Everyone
Nah,
is. No, everyone
dude,
is.
dude,
Everyone dies alone.
yeah, that's true. But you're only 27
You'll be
years old.
surprised.
You're only 27 years old, man. Like,
Wait. You never know, bro. You never know. I like babies can die within the first week of their life. Like you never know.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, I could drop dead this second and
No.
wouldn't bat
Could you
an
do it
eye.
after the podcast? I don't want you to ruin it.
No, I gotta do it on. We gotta get those views, man.
Damn it, okay,
Uh,
point your camera down.
I'll be scarred for life.
I want to
I'll be,
watch.
I'll be scarred for life if David had like an overdose or some shit.
There's no
on
light.
camera.
There's no light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh my god! But you know, in regards to Donovan, with you, Don, like I support you in your stance on a lot of things. Granted, I'm not too that far leaning as far like with some of your beliefs, but I totally understand it because
Understandable.
a lot of the things that's happening, like it does make you question the intentions of people and their motives. You know, so
Yeah, I think that's where I am at this point in my life. Like I question everything I believed, everything that I thought was right, everything history taught me, everything the government instilled in us. Like I'm at that point where I'm on a journey of. You're gonna have to send me the link for that book.
Oops, what did I drop here?
I'm just at a point where I'm content with living my life the way I want to live my life. I don't want to be involved in sides because at the end of the day, no side is better than the other side. And like I said, I'm just content with living my life. I like to write. I like to do mute. Well, I don't like to do music because I can't sing a lick. But I like to critique other people who do music, and I like to take photos, and that's what I'm going to continue to do with my life. I don't care about all the other outside distractions.
yeah, man. So just I'm happy
Like
for
Kenny
like
said, everything is a conspiracy.
dude, like I feel like that's how we all should be. Like I feel like as a society, like we're too concerned with how other people's
Yeah,
thoughts and views on things. I'm like, bro, like just if it ain't bother you, they're not. If it's not directly in your face, then you shouldn't care that much.
Oh yeah, dude.
You
right.
know?
Like I mean, at the end of the day, like if you don't believe in somebody's beliefs, that's cool. You state your opinion, they state their opinions, and then you go your separate ways. Like just
Yeah, I hate when people want to argue or debate about shit. Like,
yeah,
well, fuck it, you're
Yeah,
not gonna change my mind. You and
yeah.
your
right,
dreadlocks
exactly. Like
and
It's
your hairy armpits and your smelly vegan toast.
it's speaking of it, it's like the whole vegan versus carnivore diet type of debate. It's like, granted, like I am a vegan and so, but I'm not gonna like go out my way to tell you like, oh my god, like how can you eat meat? Like, do you know what it does to the animal? Like, are you for animal abuse? Like, I'm not. That takes too much energy. Like, I'm not doing all of that.
I
I
know.
always
You know what I mean?
wondered if it was the other way around. What animals eat us? You know, I mean,
Oh
Absolutely.
if
yeah,
we were
for
out in the
sure,
wild,
for sure. That's
so
why
it's
that's why I
so
always tell them like if there's a lion like if you're like in a jungle set and the lion sees you, you're prey to that lion, especially you show any signs of fear. Like you're just about dead.
Yeah.
You know, so a lion won't think twice about you killing it. So why should you think
right.
twice
So
about
it's
killing
like
like a cow?
I love it when
It's like,
people
oh,
call you like these radical freaking insults, like you're a fascist, you hate animals, you hate queers, you hate
yeah.
women, like making these huge assumptions, and like sometimes I'm just like, yeah, what are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do? I hate animals. I'll kill a puppy right now. I'll do it. Want to watch me? I'll get 1,000 views on YouTube. It's like, bro, I don't even feel strongly about these topics until you make me react.
Okay,
Right.
but speaking of topics, let's get into our first
Oh yeah,
topic of this week's edition.
Wow, 25 minutes.
damn, we don't even
Time
need topics
flies.
anymore.
Right.
I mean, shit. At this point, this might be the only topic that we need. 'Cause I feel like we could unpack a lot with this one. What has COVID taught us about America?
We don't know what we're doing.
That and
Okay.
I can't trust my fellow man. Even though I knew I couldn't trust him, this just reaffirmed that you can't trust anybody. Really, like you can't rely on like your fellow citizen, or you can't rely on your government. Like you literally can't rely on anybody besides yourself, and
Okay.
that's it.
Okay. Now, when you say, are you specifically talking about as far like the COVID vaccine, like the reports as far like are the reports true about the number of deaths through this virus? Like, what are you talking about?
Well, that with Dr. Fauci, not saying that he's like entirely wrong.
And hold on, talk about for a second. YouTube, please do not flag me for this discussion that we're about to have on COVID. Like, I'm not trying to pass
No, I
around
mean,
like my ideology.
Yeah, man, I mean, Fauci funded the
It's
Wuhan
COVID
lab.
hoax
Yeah.
and shit like that. Like, come on. Like, I just want to get that
we
out
could
there.
put a
YouTube.
link to like information about the COVID and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure they automatically do that, or we got to do that.
Yeah,
But
Leak the
anything
emails
we
to
say
Fauci.
in this podcast is our own opinion. It doesn't reflect True Open Culture magazine. It doesn't reflect YouTube. It's purely our own opinion, and it should be left at that.
Yeah, 100%.
That being
Donovan.
said,
You could still Google
Yeah.
Dr. Fauci emails and see for yourself what's on there.
right? Yeah, everything you can research yourself. Like it's up there.
And that's basically what we encourage you all to do. Do your research. Like, do not take our word for anything. Like, we're just opinionated.
It's just our opinions. Just three men's opinions. That's it.
Everyone is lying to you.
Besides Kenny.
okay, but continue, Donovan. No, continue on with your point. I'm sorry about that.
It's not that I think he's lying. It's just I like when the CDC came out and said, people who's vaccinated don't have to wear their mask anymore. And people were asking, well, how do we know if somebody's vaccinated? And Dr. Fauci, I believe he said, you just have to trust each other, or President Biden. Somebody higher up said, you just have to rely on your fellow man. I'm like, rely on my fellow man.
Bro, I mean okay, if I were in that room with you, Donovan, and you were wearing a mask and I farted, you would smell the fart. The particles that make up that smell are much larger than the virus particles, and they quite easily go through your mask. It never fucking worked, Donovan. We never had to wear masks. We never did.
Yeah, I mean,
you remember when people were calling the police on each other because they saw so and so not wearing a mask, and they were just minding their own business?
They still do
yard.
that in Philadelphia. I know for a fact.
I'm not coughing on some elderly people. I am by myself in my yard.
You know what's weird? Here in New York City, if you're going to a store, you have to wear a mask. Even if you got vaccinated with the vaccine, I guess they say nowadays, like, if you got vaccine, you don't have to wear a mask. But if you're going like in public, like in a store, you still have to wear a mask. So I was like, okay, like, what's the purpose to get a vaccine?
Or how about when they said in the early COVID days when we couldn't be inside of restaurants, so all the restaurants did was build out an extra room outside. So now you're inside but on the outside, and that's okay. But you can't be inside the actual fucking restaurant. You know what I mean? Like, did they get a permit for building on the sidewalk?
I know what you mean. Like, kind of like we have that little patio edge where they set the tables outside, like on the curb on the restaurant.
I always wondered that. Like, because I know there's this long stretch in Philadelphia of just like businesses with like their outdoor dining during the winter, and I'm like, do you guys like have permits for this? Like, who okayed
First
this?
of all,
Who started building?
first of all, it's fucking stupid in the first place because the same people that's making you sit outside are the same people making your food inside.
Yeah,
So
you're
it's
like
like,
sitting next to people at the same distance you would be if you were inside the fucking restaurant. At least
yeah.
the air conditioning would have like ventilated the air or something. But like, no, it's and like what else? It's funny because the people making these rules weren't following the rules themselves. I mean, in California, the governor got caught with his pants down at a dinner with no mask.
I remember
That happened to the governor and of PA, I believe. He was caught in Maryland at a diner or something. Somebody up in the tri-state area, like they was found at a diner in Maryland, which I thought was really funny.
They don't follow the rules they enforce, man.
even Dr. Fauci, because I remember, I think it was last year, at a baseball game, Washington Nationals baseball game, and he had like his mask like halfway on, like this.
Yeah, where did this kid get his
I'm gonna
medical
show you.
degree? I
He
swear
was
to
like,
God.
he was like literally like this or something with his mask, and everybody's calling him out on it. I'm like, hold on, like doctor, like how you tell everybody that they gotta wear a mask, but here you are sitting next to two people and you barely have your mask on.
He's a quack. I've
Have
never
they
told a doctor that he's a quack.
have they ever made their have they made their selections for the Nobel Peace Prize yet? Was his name considered? Or are we still like
I don't be honest, I don't keep track of that shit. I really don't keep track of
that.
I'll check right now.
because I like the whole Nobel Peace Prize in itself. No disrespect to anybody that has won that award or have aspirations of winning that award, but it's all bullshit. Because there's no peace on this earth because everybody's always complaining about something, whether it's happened inside this country or outside the country. Like there's something always going on. So like,
Yeah,
what are you getting a Nobel Peace Prize for? There's no peace.
bro, they nominated Hitler for the Peace Prize in 1939. It was always a joke. They just ended up not giving it to anyone that year, but he was nominated. So, I wouldn't take that list too seriously.
Yeah. But Kenny, Mr. Like, there's no such thing as coincidence, or don't call it conspiracy. Like, what has COVID taught you about America over the past, let's say, 15 months or so?
Hasn't really taught me anything new. I guess it really pushed it in my face that the federal government is just designed to lie to you, and that if you have a Democrat or a leftist in your state government, then really that's just a larger arm of your federal government because they just do whatever Washington tells them to, no matter what it is.
Yeah, my whole thing as far as I'm just like I know like there's so much propaganda going on within the media right now. Like you cannot turn off your TV, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on like streaming ads like Hulu, Sling TV, YouTube TV, regular cable. You cannot escape these COVID ads tell you to get the vaccine, say that these vaccines are safe.
Yeah,
Like it's like we basically they haven't even perfected the regular flu vaccine or anything like that. So it's like all of a sudden we have this vaccine like 8 months later that everybody's supposed to just be lining up for it and nobody
wasn't they in New York offering like free Shake Shack fries to get the
I didn't get shit.
I don't know that shit.
I just got a needle. That's it. I was in and out. Ow. But,
Also, you guys both got the vaccine.
You have to. They're basically making those Vax cards passports, and Papa likes to travel.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, like the nature of my job is like journalism and stuff like that, and I plan on like going to a lot of festivals and stuff like that. So it's more of a safety precaution. I know my sister is really against Western medicine and stuff like that. Here's my stance. If I have the vaccine and I die, then I die.
What?
And I mean this.
Why? Like, why are you okay with that?
And that's what I was about to say. And people don't like hearing like, why are you okay with dying? Like, why are you so? Because I am. Like my brain isn't going to know that I'm dead. Like it's like just I'm content with like whatever happens. And if there so happens to be a God, I do have a few questions that I would love to ask.
And what would those questions be?
I like how you assume he has time to answer your questions.
Right, like
Guys,
like there's an exit
hold up.
interview or something like
Donovan's here.
that.
I got it. Guys, I
Guys,
got it.
Now, Donovan, what
one,
question? Yeah, good. Let's get to that. What
one.
question would you like to ask the Lord?
Who do you think you are? And just
What's
right
the
out
big
the gate.
stuff? Duh.
Yeah, who do you think you are to be sitting up there on your plush couch watching all the travesties and all the stuff in the world and just knowing what's going to happen and whatever? And I'm just like, you're just up here chilling with your son. And it's just like, yeah. I also want to hear the other side of, let's say, Satan. I want to hear his story. So if I have to take a trip to hell to hear his side of things, I would like to do that as well.
Okay.
And I'm not taking that back.
And just the way you said it so casual, like I'm about to take a trip to hell, as if like you just going in your car, just making like a U-turn.
Right, like I have like dual like citizenship in heaven and hell. I mean, but yeah, like
I don't think it works like that, Donovan.
Right. I mean, but if there is like all that religion, Christianity or whatever, I would like to talk to like Satan, you know, chat it up with him, because maybe he's not a bad guy. I mean, we only know one side of the story.
Yeah, you can just email Bill Gates.
That's definitely going on social media.
Cool. You can't be bagging on Bill Gates. This man going through a divorce right now.
Kenny Santos is the king of the one-liners. Like he is so witty. He's so quick with it. Like I love it. But
I'm looking forward to Life After Death, by the way.
Of course.
I think I'm more excited for like what's happening after. Look, I'm more like on my deathbed, I'm be like, all right, let's get this over with. Like I want to see what's going on after life, you know? Maybe I'm reincarnated into a bird, and that would be awesome.
Well, I definitely believe in reincarnation. Because I personally believe, and I tell my mother, my grandmother this all the time, that this is my second life. Because in my first life, I was known as a guy named Marcus Wheatley from Little Rock, Arkansas. And when he died,
damn, you know his whole name.
Yes, and my wife's name was Paula.
Oh, you had a wife.
Yeah, her name was Paula. And so basically, like once Marcus died from natural causes, then I was reincarnated as Ladale, and I came out of my mother's pom pom, and that's how my new life began.
I mean, it's not so far off stretch what I think. I do think during the Renaissance era, I may have been studying under Leonardo da Vinci or Michelangelo. And
who did you pay? You pay one of those like celebrity psychics. They were like, yes, you were Alexander the Great's left testicle.
He spoke with Miss Cleo.
Bro,
that's what happened.
Right. I mean, but if I had to say I lived another life, it would have been a poet or a writer or something, like a Shakespearean.
This is the most.
He was Othello. He was the original Othello.
I think.
Yes.
This is low key the most spiritual episode of TUC Talk ever.
We got to get it out there.
Like the conversation is just out there, but hopefully, like you guys, I hope you guys are enjoying this conversation. And if you are, please like this video, share this video with your network.
Or if you're not, we don't care
give a fuck.
Or I don't care, bro. You can think I give a fuck. Fuck you. If you're watching this, fuck you.
and leave a comment telling Kenny fuck you too. How about that?
Maybe later. I'm tired.
We'd definitely love for you guys to share your thoughts as well. So feel free to comment. Let us know how you feel about this conversation, as well as our previous conversations, because even though we like to have fun, so we drop some gems that will make you think. Well, a person might be like, Donovan kind of has a point there. Kenny has a point there.
Yeah,
Maybe he
there's no
does.
God.
Well, I disagree with
that's my
that.
that's my point.
I'll say this: we can agree to disagree because it's like, see, just to bring back full circle, it kind of goes about like what I was saying earlier about the whole debate as far like vegans versus non-vegans. Me being a spiritual person, a person that believes in a higher power, and you guys who are both atheists, it's like, okay, like I'm not don't have time to
Both of
completely.
you to label me.
Jeez. I wouldn't say I'm an atheist per se. I just don't like give credence to God. Like, if God exists, so what? I'm not gonna change who I am.
Right, but see, like me,
Yeah.
like I know the Christian thing to do would be to like tell you guys like, no, God is the way, like accept him, like do not deny him, shit like that would be the Christian thing to do. But me, I'm like, you know what? I'm not a perfect person. I don't do everything according to the Lord's will, so I'll be a hypocrite if I'm telling you, like, hey, like, no, like that's wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Right.
Like
Too
we all
much
have,
premarital sex.
like we all have our, right? Like we all have our own journeys in life. It's like, hey, like who knows, Don? But maybe you might discover that later on. Like you're only 27 years old. Kenny, you're
Yeah, I
still
mean,
young yourself.
I
So
was Christian until 18, and I don't know. I just like a lot of stuff happened like during foster care and stuff like that, and it like changed my belief and stuff like that, and I learned to rely on myself and relying on myself. I had to cut out relying on other people or relying on other entities and stuff like that. So I think that's where it stems from.
okay,
But like I said, I'm always open to debate. I'm always open to opinions. I'm always open to being proved wrong. So if there is a God, I mean, I hopefully I get a chance to like sit down and talk with him.
That's very Buddhist of you, Donovan.
right, right,
I
but I
actually was going to become a monk when I was 15. I was going to shave my head and I was going to, yeah, I was researching it and all this stuff. And I was actually going to like leave and not tell nobody and just live my life in silence, like
but you
I
know
pretty much do right now.
But like the journalist in me, like will not let this go. So forgive me if I'm getting a little Oprah on you. And it says that, for the record, before I say anything, like, hey, you're uncomfortable, you don't feel like talking about it, just let me know, and I won't push it. But I feel like this could definitely help a lot of people that might have grown up just like you in a foster care system. So you never know.
Yeah.
You could be speaking like your life experience might resonate with somebody else, like one of our viewers out there.
Yeah.
So what was it?
100%. Yeah.
So what was it about your experience in foster care that made you like go say like because you said like you was a Christian up until the age of 18. So what about your experience growing up in foster care made you say, I don't think there's a God anymore?
Tell us,
Uh,
Donovan. Tell us.
um, So me, my brother, and my sister, we grew up since we could like walk and talk. Both of our parents were addicts, so we were placed with the judge after none of our family wanted to take us in. So going through foster care, we were always like passed around and stuff like that. And like when you grow up without like a mother and father, you start to get the sense that all these people that you're like supposed to be reporting to or like supposed to be authority figures, they're going to change within a week or a month or a couple of months or a year. So it was just a lot of like authority figures, like parents just phasing in and out. So I never really had that connection of trust and love and stuff like that. So when you're growing up and learning not to trust people, it's just like you just hit a switch where you're just like, oh, I can only rely on myself. And then people say, well, you got to have faith. And I'm like, faith is non existent in my vocabulary. Like, I don't believe anything unless I can see it or touch it or like, unless it's like directly in front of me. So to like, to like condense it all, I don't believe in religion because I don't have faith. So that's what I would say. Like that's what it is. Like I
But
don't have faith in anything.
more so like, is it safe to say that your lack of faith, is not so much come from like God per se, but the fact that those that you was hoping that would be there for you and take you in, like your family, like your blood, the fact that they just, how can I say this? They kind of like just left you be. They just left you in the hands of the system. That kind of like took away your faith.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. We was left in the care of the government or the system. Like I said earlier on another podcast, we were technically wards of the state. The state took ownership of us and stuff like that. And as you know, with the state and the system, they are never fucking around or anywhere when you need them. So, like I said, that faith and that trustworthiness just started to decline over the years. Like I said, I used to believe in God and I used to go to Sunday school and like I was into like the whole spiel of things. But once I came into my own and my brain started to develop more, like by the time my brain developed, my faith was already gone. So it's like I don't have faith in anything. That's why I always say like I'm content with like leaving this planet or whatever. Like I'm content with like my life right now. Like if I was to die tomorrow or whatever, like I wouldn't be sad. And I always tell people that like don't feel sad for me. Like I'm fine with whatever happens. Like I've like shut off that part of my brain or that part where it
It's, it's more so
allowed
like
me to trust people.
it's more so like a defense mechanism in a sense.
Yeah, you can say that, and it's been up so long that it's like permanent. Well, not like permanent, but it's like, well, yeah, it's permanent. Like it's like I just don't have faith in anything. That's all it is. Like I just don't have faith in anything. People, the system, the government, the higher being. It's just me.
People, the system, government, people make up all of those things. So basically, your
Yeah,
main
like I was talking
so
about like
basically,
the or the country. I don't
If
have
your
faith in the
father
country.
wasn't there, what makes you think that God is?
Yeah, and that's the way I see it. Yeah,
I stole that
that's
from
an
Fight Club,
exact
by
way
the way.
how I see it.
like it's more so a sense of like it's more so like you have a lack of faith in humanity. Would you agree with that? Oh shit, I'm never going to edit that part. You didn't hear me. I don't think you heard me. All right, so as Donovan is getting, we have some technical difficulties with Donovan. Like, Katie, like, what are your overall thoughts as far as like
Okay,
the lack of
I
faith
did
in
not get that
humanity?
last part.
I mean, you know, there is a part of me that's like, no, don't give up, no, no, we still need you, Donovan, no. But honestly, I feel like it's kind of a sign of maturity when you kind of give up hope of something better, because like that puts you in a place to believe, like, you know what, this is what I have. Let me work with this. Let me stop trying to change the world. Let me stop trying to change other. Let me put the magnifying glass on myself and learn what I can change about myself, because you kind of have to give up the hope that things are going to get better someday, because life is just suffering. You are put on this earth to suffer. Everyone's suffering, and Donovan's right. You shouldn't feel bad for him, because chances are something going on in your life is potentially just as bad. I mean, like, I've been surrounded by death since like the day I could be cognitive. Like, one of the earliest memories I have are of an uncle just shooting himself because I didn't witness it, but he killed himself by shooting himself because he couldn't deal with the cancer, and he left all his children alone without a father, and they all grew up to be drug dealers and whatnot. And that's only part of the problem, but that like basically set the tone for the rest of my life. So bye, Donovan. But okay, it's like everyone is suffering right now, and you just have to understand it kind of makes you feel like you're not alone, really, Because if everyone's suffering, then everyone's kind of carrying their own cross, as they say. You know what I mean? You know, and no one should say, "Oh, Donovan is." No, don't take pity on Donovan. Don't take pity on the other orphans. When I volunteer at the hospice, you're not supposed to take pity on the guy who might be like 24 years old and dying of cancer himself. Like that happens to people. Babies die within the first week of their life. It's just that life is suffering, and you can let it build you, or you can let it destroy you. And if you let it build yourself, you're gonna meet. If you let it build you, you're gonna live a much more fulfilling life that way. You're gonna become a stronger person, and you'll eventually find peace. Honestly, I believe so. Yeah, there's a great show called Midnight Gospel, and it talks about like letting go of hope, because that's just like the final trap. Like once you let go of hope, once you stop giving a shit, you will reach nirvana.
As far as the whole let go whole thing, I kind of disagree with that. But I would say this though.
That's
I,
okay. We can disagree.
no, I get. I'm glad we can agree to disagree. But I'm this is what I mean by that. Like for instance, like if you're expecting something to get, you expect a certain situation to get better, and it's like over time you can see that okay, like it's not like okay, like you gotta pick yourself up and move on to the next step. My thing is my thing on that is this: you're not necessarily giving up on hope per se. You're just giving up on this particular option. You know what I mean? Like, okay, like this wasn't the exact option that's gonna get me over what it is I need to get through. So, okay, let me find another alternative. So basically, you keep looking for alternatives in a sense. Like you're
That's the
not
thing.
just
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not so much. It's not so much on a focus on giving up on hope as a concept. It's just the hope that you
Sorry about
believe
that.
this.
My
Yeah, you
connection
better be sorry.
with
How
my
dare
head
you?
messed up.
Fucking. Oh, no, okay. But it's not like hope as the concept that I'm talking about. It's like the hope or desire that the next thing you move on to will be the thing that's finally going to make you happy. You know what I mean? Like for
right.
me, it was a job, it was a girlfriend, it was a house, it was doing this. And it's just this desire for something that I don't have. I'm constantly hungering after. And once I have it, it doesn't satisfy the hunger. You know what I mean? So this hope that things will get better when you find this new pursuit or whatnot. And this isn't like nihilism. This isn't saying nothing matters. Don't pursue the job you want to. It's like no, look, pursue something that you believe is fulfilling, but know that that deep down this animalistic desire will never be satisfied. So whenever you do something, don't do it for the sake of satisfying that animalistic desire. Do it for the sake of simply doing it. That's it, and you will
That's
find all the satisfaction you need. So just give
that
up the hope that that hunger inside will ever be filled.
that's deep. That's deep. And Donovan, as you were away, what I was basically saying to Kenny is this: like, I don't necessarily agree with the whole aspect of just giving up and hope altogether. In a sense, it's just that okay, this particular option, this particular want, okay, that's chances are that's not going to come to fruition. So we have to find other avenues to replace that will fulfill us. In a sense, like for instance, the whole aspect as far as like you growing up in a foster care system and not having like a loving support system like family to take you
stability.
in, yeah, like like stable housing stability, right? So okay, like that didn't happen for you. Okay, but you can find happiness in other avenues, whether it's through your art, whether it's through poetry, whether it's through like how you like to critique music, or maybe it could be in the fact that okay, like you grow with that experience. So maybe there's a younger generation right under you that's probably going through the same situations. Maybe you could help them not to fall into that rut as far like get feeling sorry for yourself and basically like say that hey, like this that happened for, but I could still live a happy and stable life. Let me show you how. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you misunderstood my point a little bit. But I do
No,
agree
please
with what you're
clarify.
saying.
Please clarify.
I I don't say I don't mean I have lost faith in a way that I'm sad or I'm depressed or anything like that. Although I do suffer from depression and suicidal tendencies, but I don't mean it in the sense that oh nothing matters like it's just all hopeless and pointless and stuff that I think it's more so I've come to terms with the way the world is and the way I am. Like you said, I find passion in music and art and writing. Like you see it in my articles and stuff like that. Um, like I do have things that I enjoy. In the overall grand scheme of things, I just don't. I just don't have faith in humanity. I believe, or in a spiritual being, or something like that.
I got you.
Maybe
It's
what you
not to
mean is
say,
like you don't have expectations that things will get better, and that you
yeah,
exist without the need for things to get better.
yeah. That's exactly what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah.
And
There's a
it's
link in the chat that I want you to check out. By the way.
okay. Yeah, I see it. And it's not to say that I'm like depressed or anything like that. It's just if things get better, great. Like who doesn't want things to get better or whatever or have you? But if they don't, I'm cool with that too. Like it's whatever.
Okay.
And yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. Then you mentioned something as far as like you suffer from depression and suicidal thoughts, stuff like that. When was the last time you had thoughts of suicide?
Oh dear.
Uh, a month ago.
A month ago.
I thought you were gonna say right before this podcast, knowing I had to speak to these idiots.
Shit. Like that's still recent. Like we've been doing this for like what going on like TUC Talk has been around for like a month. So
yeah. Um, I'll tell
You
you what
triggered it.
happened. No. The thing about me is I'm not a left person who gets triggered by any words or whatever. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling myself or anything like that. So I walked to the Benjamin Franklin Bridge and I got up on the rails and was getting ready to jump off until somebody stopped and talked to me and eventually got me down from the side of the bridge and stuff like that.
now listen, I know you don't believe it. Continue. I don't want to cut you.
No, please.
You think his guardian angel saved him?
Exactly. That's what I was getting. That's what I was getting to. Like, there are some good people on this earth, dog. That's why I want you to like understand. Like, not obviously, like you have some people that just like run to the litter. Like, I get that. That's just comes on the earth. But you also have some people that's like, yo, like, cause you never know that person. They probably been in the same situation as you before, and that kind of brings me to my point as far as like how last week you mentioned as far as like how you was approaching the street about opportunities to like work with kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it brought me back to like I was telling you before, like how you basically gave me credit as far as for like, helping you to like put you on the right path in terms of your writing and how now you're being recognized for it. Like so many people like are reposting your work. Like it's crazy. Like and I love that for you. But now you have the opportunity to do that for the next generation coming up. And I guess when you was up on that bridge, you never know. That person probably saw themselves in you in the past, like
All right.
So,
yeah.
That's a sign that there is some good in this earth,
Yeah, it was funny. I was rereading Albert Camus's The Myth of Sisyphus, and it's kind of a philosophical track that talks about the original Greek myth of Sisyphus. He's a guy or king that typically typical of the gods. He angers them, so they punish him. So basically, he's punished for the rest of existence to push a boulder up a hill, essentially.
Yeah.
And every time he's almost at the top, it magically just falls down, and he has to keep doing it again, knowing that every single time it's going to fall down. And Camus wanted to preface this by saying that suicide is the only important question that you'll ever ask yourself, because depending on your answer, whatever your answer is basically either verifying or denying whether life has any worth or existence. Because it's quite possible that there is nothing out there, that the universe is absurd, it's uncaring, it's unfeeling, and you feel all these things and you feel this pointlessness, and you like rage at the heavens saying, why me? And you will get no answer back. So he ultimately decides that what, suicide is just not the answer, because there is a way to live happily in this absurdity, in this pointlessness. Like he wants you to think of Sisyphus as being happy anyway, because the gods are punishing them, but fuck them, because no matter how many times he rolls up the boulder up that hill, they're not gonna like kill his vibe whatsoever.
Yeah.
So yeah, absurdism is pretty interesting. It just posits that life is strange and stupid, and you don't, even if there's a point to everything, you don't have the human mind is incapable of rationally or logically coming to the conclusion of what's actually out there. Our perspective is way too limited, so it's not really something we should care about, honestly, because we'll never get it. We'll never know. We can only posit all these different varying theories, but we won't know until we're dead.
For sure. Now, Kenny, while we're on the subject of suicide, have you ever had like suicidal thoughts before?
I feel like everyone does. Like everyone's like, man, everyone gets to the point in their life where like at one point they're just like, man, things can't get worse. I don't want to suffer anymore. I'm tired of this life. Let's just fucking do it. I will say I've never come that close as Donovan just described. Like it's never become more than a thought, because I'm like, I'm gonna die anyway, so I might as well see how this whole shit ends. Like, there's no reason to rush the process.
I know you said it so casually, but that's so true. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's where we're all going, and it could happen. Like, I nearly died once. I was on the highway with my dad. He was driving. He lost control of the car. It literally ping ponged. So it was the West Side Highway, if you're in New York and you're familiar with it. And there's a section of it that's just completely over water. We lost control and we're ping ponging back and forth and back and forth. And at one point, like, this is the edge of the bridge. Here's the car. We're like this. Like, I'm looking down at the water. We're tipping over. And, all my instincts were like, do something to survive. But my rational mind was like, I can't really do anything. I'm just going to close my eyes and whatever. It doesn't happen. And what happened was, we're basically careening over. More of the car is outside of the bridge than on. It just slowly rolls back. Boop. The entire front of the car is crushed. Everything is bumpered. I'm fine. No scratch. I was pretty sore. I was like, damn, I really don't want to die, because if I were suicidal, I would take it off my seat and be like, yay. But so I could die any moment, so why rush it?
I had a similar experience with that. It was another, I wouldn't say suicide attempt. So we were at a friend's house, and we were enjoying a pool party or whatever. So the guys are tossing the football back and forth in the water and stuff like that. So me, to this day, I still don't know why I dove in the water knowing I can't swim.
I do that shit all the time.
Yeah. So somebody overthrew the ball to the deep side of the pool. And again, don't know why I dove in. I know I can't swim. So I dove in after the ball and I pushed it. So then I start to realize it's coming to me that, like the bottom, like I can't touch the bottom. So I start to sink down into the deep end of the pool. And mind you, it's a pool party. Like, everybody thinks that, this is Donovan just being Donovan. Like, he's joking. Like, no, I never told anybody that I can't swim. It has never come up. It just...
So what is Donovan being Donovan is like? Because you said maybe people just say this is Donovan being
joking about drowning, clearly.
Yeah.
The boy who cried wolf.
Right. I said I was drowning too many times, and he was just like, yeah, this dude is no, it's just playing around, and everybody knows me as like a happy-go-lucky guy. Like, I like to laugh and stuff like that. So when I dove in after the ball, they thought, like, let's get back to the game and stuff like that. So I'm like trying to like climb up to the surface. I'm like, well, anytime's a good time to learn how to start swimming. So I'm like trying to like doggy paddle up to the surface and stuff like that. And around me, everybody's still having fun, drinking, whatever. And I get to the point where I'm just like, maybe this is it. Like, this is one of the moments where I'm like, I'm content with like dying or whatever. Like, in that moment, out of all the times I've had like close calls with like death and like suicide and depression and all that stuff, that was probably the most significant moment where I was aware of what was going on and I was okay with it. So after a while, I just stopped trying to like grab everybody's attention or trying to grasp for air. So I just let my body sink to the bottom of the pool, and I cross my legs and I close my eyes and I open my mouth. And then I wake up and I'm lying like face down on the cement by the pool with the sun like shining bright as fuck in my
Oh
eyes
God, bro.
and stuff like that. And
I
yeah,
hate to be that
apparently,
guy, but that's God.
yeah,
It's not your
and
time. It's
apparently,
not your time. You're meant to do so
yeah,
much more on this earth. You're meant to do so much
yeah.
more on this earth.
It was. I was like, what happened? He was like, I'm telling you, it was like the last possible sight because I saw the light that everybody talks about, and I was like, I'm content with like where I am right now. Like I've had a good run. Like I've been to New York a couple of times. Like I'm good. I've been to Central Park. So
my man said,
I was in Central Park. I can die now.
right.
you sound like such a
I
tourist.
saw the
Like,
ducks in the pond. Drown me,
my man,
please.
you sound like such a tourist. I had a good run.
Because James and the Giant Peach is like one of my favorite childhood stories, and it's about this kid who like sells in a giant peach to New York to get away from the step parents, which is a direct comparison to DHS over there. So it was like, yeah, at the last possible second, I saw that you weren't kidding, so I dove in and like pushed you up, like threw you up to the surface where the other guy was able to catch you. And yeah.
They tossed him.
I mean,
yeah. He said because I was like kind of like a heavy guy, so it was like I literally had to like toss you up in the water because he played football and stuff like that. So
God knew exactly the one that had to jump into that water to retrieve you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about this big man.
Yeah, thank God it wasn't me because you would have drowned. I swear to God, I can barely. We would have both drowned. I would have.
That's the thing. That's like probably one of the worst situations you could be in. Not everybody around you not knowing that you're dying, but also it's a whole bunch of like teenagers, so nobody's gonna like think quickly in that situation like that. But luckily, my friend did, and
teenagers are just stupid, man.
Right? Yeah, like nobody's going to think, hey, that kid over there is fucking drowning while I'm trying to shotgun this fucking Jaeger or beer or whatever.
I would have been like, let me piss in the pool just to
just to spite him.
Like Donovan, like I don't know your whole life experiences and everything like that, and who knows, maybe just one particular story not enough to make up for everything that you went through, but your life was basically in the hands of somebody else, so basically I know that you don't like to like rely on humans.
I mean, I can definitely see it that way. I mean, I've had a lot of close calls, so I mean, I don't know who's working overtime right now up there in heaven, but
you're cheating that like sometimes like I feel like us as human beings, just speaking in general, I feel like we always rely on God to be the source of like, hey, like God, like get me out of the situation. But I feel like the big man upstairs or woman, whichever you prefer, sends his angels down on earth to be like, hey, like I need you to help this person out. You know what I mean? Like who knows? Yeah. Maybe I could be that figure as well in a sense. You know what I mean? Like,
I know my guardian angel is like again.
like
I
maybe
know, right? He's like, fuck Donovan, this is twice in the same week.
Right, exactly.
Like you never know who God could be working through sometimes, like sometimes God don't do things on his own. Like he has his people on earth because like we're supposed to be all working in unison together as the human race, and that's why the world's so fucked up because everybody's so selfish. Like nobody knows to help like their fellow man.
Wait, is God hiring? Can I get hired?
I mean,
it can seem like he has a field office on Earth, and it's like, okay, team.
It depends on how you're looking at it, but I'm a firm believer that we're all been hired by God. It's just some of us are doing better than others.
Damn, he don't pay. This is slavery. Damn,
I can't.
God's a slave master.
I can't. I'm trying to be deep.
What the fuck,
Okay.
God? Come on, not cool.
All right, but we've been going on over an hour and 10 minutes. I had other topics planned for us to
Fuck the
discuss.
topics.
I know, fuck the topic because I feel I'm like God's working through me this
This
today
has turned
because
into an intervention, a
I'm
Dr. Phil
feeling,
episode for Donnie.
I feels the load.
it kind of has, and I'm so grateful for it because like this is so organic. Like, like shit like this you cannot plan. Like I know, like before every episode we normally do like topic rundowns. Like Donovan, you see how we do our out of bounds. Like I said, hey, we're gonna talk
Yeah.
about this first. Like all this shit has happened organically, like this whole conversation. And I thank you for being brave enough to share your story. Kenny, I thank you for sharing your story as well. And I'd love to say this to those of you out there that's watching this. Like, granted, like life could be hard sometimes. Like we get that. Like life could be unfair, especially if you're comparing your life to others. And you feel like maybe you're less fortunate than others. Others have more than you. You feel like you are deserving so much more because maybe you're a great person. You feel like you're not being rewarded, and like you feel like life is unfair towards you, and so maybe there's no God out there. I say this to you guys, like God. Sometimes He works through. Sometimes God works through other people, and I'm not trying to make this like a whole come to Jesus type of moment, anything like that. I'm basically saying to those of you that's like have like suicidal thoughts or go through like depression, like for one, like I said, like therapy could be very expensive or shit like that, but I'm most sure that everybody on this earth has somebody that they could talk to. And I would like to say this as one of the leaders of this publication, what case may be, like if you guys ever need to talk to someone, even those of you viewers out there, like feel free to like leave a comment. You could DM me directly on Instagram. Like I would love to talk to you, like help you out with whatever situation that you're going through. Not because I have like some messiah complex or anything like that. It's just because I'm a firm believer that on this earth we do not do enough to help other people. So if you're on
Yeah,
this earth just like expecting to like the earth to just give you rather than you give it back to it, then I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice and you're doing everybody on this earth a disservice. Now,
yeah,
granted, you have to want help. Like you cannot just be like, hey, like I cannot be like, hey, like can I help you? Can I help you? Like you have to want it. So I'll just say this: I encourage those of you out there, like you feel like you do not have someone to talk to. I'm more than happy to be an ear. If you want to call me, you could call me directly as well. Just DM me. I'll give you my phone number. So I'll just say all that to
You're
say
probably
this.
gonna get some weird
yeah,
Carlos.
Like
yeah.
I'm
There's
a
also the suicide prevention hotline.
yeah.
Uh,
That's
I was just
uh,
about. I'm glad you mentioned that,
yeah,
Kenny, because I was just about
whatever
to say it.
number I can give our audience so that they don't call me personally. Please don't call me with your
Yeah,
bullshit.
we're gonna
Okay,
put we're
I'm
gonna put the
sorry, but I
phone
have my
numbers
own
in
problems.
we're gonna put the phone numbers and the hotlines
Yeah,
down below in the bio for anybody that needs help.
yeah.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
glad. I'm
Talk to a
glad you guys
professional,
met.
please.
I'm glad you guys mentioned that because I wasn't gonna do that. Unfortunately,
Come to me.
Because
I was
I can
I am
hear.
on the cross. I am Ladale. I'm on the cross. I'm suffering for all of you now.
Because me and
Please
Kenny
give it
was
to
like,
me.
all right, well, definitely, because we know we got to mention that.
There's a hot.
Like the two
Yo,
non-believers.
wait, hold up. Yo, I heard a story where a guy didn't commit suicide because his suicide hotline once put him on hold for too long and then hung up on him. And he was just so pissed that he didn't kill himself.
I
so
have called
sad.
that number before, and it's just like
So what the
you're on
fuck?
hold for so long, and you're
That's
just
why I
like, you
didn't.
know what? I don't even feel like
I don't
doing
want
it.
to kill myself anymore. I'm tired.
Right?
That, it's like now you feel like now, yeah, I want to kill. Now I want to kill you for making me wait. It's like
Fuck,
that's
I'm
what it
coming
is.
for you.
Right? Yeah.
Like that's why I guess I didn't mention
So
it because I
yeah,
figured, all right, that's kind of like a bullshit cop out. But yeah, like we'll definitely provide links to like suicide hotlines
Yeah, it's a
in
hit or
the
miss, but
description for
take
this
it.
video. Yeah. But any final thoughts before we wrap up? Like anything that you guys want to discuss, like plug yourselves or anything before we head on out of here? Or any final thoughts you want to
no,
leave to the
but
people based on this discussion?
yes, I mean this in the most serious manner. Because I know we're probably going to get tons of hate. This is a disclaimer. Anything that we said in this podcast was reflective of our own opinions. It had nothing to do with the publication. It had nothing to do with YouTube. These are just our thoughts. And I know this episode was a little out of the lane that we're usually in. And by all means, if you want to skip it, that's fine.
I know. I'll
But
watch this.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
That's because we didn't have any women
I
today.
know there'll be some people that just like feel uncomfortable.
I mean, but
like
that's
just
life.
remember
Sometimes you
these
gotta,
are our opinions. Like we're
Nah,
not
they
bashing.
knew what they were coming in for. It's been what, 5, 6 episodes.
Oh yeah, I feel like me and Kenny said some
you like
controversial
this.
things.
You want this. This is what you need. You think you're better than this? You want this.
You need us.
We don't need you. You need us.
Oh my god!
But
Okay.
don't take nothing that we said with an official statement. Remember, always do your research by your own, and remember, these are just opinions.
And I'm a fish.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you enjoyed this week's edition of TUC Talk. Please feel free, like I said, if you enjoyed this video, you made it this far, then you must really have enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah, if you made it this far, then obviously we said nothing that was.
Yeah. So if you did, please give us that good old thumbs up. Please share this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and hit that notification bell that way you're notified for any future episodes of TUC Talk, Out of Bounds Podcast, the Game and Chair Podcast, our next up interview series, and soon to come all direct. And you're listening to us on our audio platforms. We appreciate you guys on Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And until next, like I said, you guys, like if you need somebody to talk to, you either call the suicide hotline, you can reach out to me directly.
Yeah,
I won't put you on hold.
Numbers down below.
Yeah, we'll do.
I will block you after you read the message if you said
Because somebody calls me up at 3 a.m. at night. I don't care what you do.
Listen, bro, if anyone who messages me with their bullshit will get blocked. I'm just saying it now. I won't even read it. Even read it.
That's Kenny. That's Kenny.
That's Kenny. This is all Kenny.
Right. I'm more than willing to talk to anybody. And I feel like Ladale is there. I always mentioned that Kenny was just like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
If you come into him in his DM, so.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
But I'm here for you. It's blazing in here. I'm sweating. It's time to get out
here.
It's
hot as balls, but I guess.
Yeah. Right.
I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. We'll catch you guys same time, same place next week.
I mean, are we sure this is in hell right now?
Damn it, Donovan.
God damn it. No, fuck it. Bye.
All right.